All right, so here we go. We're doing this live again, another Unravelling Toxic Masculinity video. And in this one, it's from the Whatever podcast, and it's this Andrew Wilson schmuck who, this video claims that he schools modern woman who thinks he's a hypocrite, but in reality, he schools himself.
Would it be a deal breaker for you if you met a man and he had all the right criteria? He was a millionaire, perhaps. He met the attractiveness scale that you wanted. If he had slept with 150 women, but he wanted to settle down with you.
I think if he was ready to settle down, then that's fine as long as he's clean. And now it's just him and I were.
So that wouldn't be a deal breaker, right?
Right.
Okay, but for men, that's a deal breaker.
But for a majority of men, I want to know why.
It should logically make sense. Hypocrisy doesn't mean I'm guilty of the thing in which I'm telling you not to do. That's not hypocrisy. Hypocrisy has
I mean, it kind of is.
A experience of pretending. I was a former drug addict, let's say, and I'm telling people not to be drug addicts. Am I a hypocrite?
No, because you've changed your ways and you're trying to, I would think that as a man, you're trying to lead by example. Right? That's what a traditional man does.
But if I said, okay, I'm a former drug addict, you should stop being a drug addict and secretly did drugs, would I be a hypocrite then?
Yeah.
Right. That's what actual hypocrisy is. So
Okay, but the problem is that that's not what you're saying when it comes, like, her argument was that if somebody was a drug addict, or if a guy slept with 150 women or whatever, that was their body count, which is a BS metric, there's, whatever. But if they've stopped that and they've changed their ways and now they want to settle down and be monogamous, that she's willing to overlook that. And then he makes the point about, well, what if it's not somebody who's secretly still doing the drugs? But if it's somebody who, used to do drugs but has now cleaned themselves up. He agreed with her about that. So in his claiming that he's schooling her, he's really schooling himself because he just tore apart his own argument. Because according to his argument, if somebody did sleep with a whole bunch of dudes, but then has decided that they want to settle down, that they want to be married, that they want to be monogamous, then that's fine. That should be fine by his logic, but to his logic, it's not, because he is a hypocrite.
If a man has a preference and he says, I don't want a woman who has a high body count, right? But he's fine with his own high body count, that's not hypocrisy.
It absolutely is hypocrisy because he's holding her to standards that he's not willing to hold himself to. If he has a high body count in the past, and assuming he's going to commit sexually to the person, and the other person the same thing, then yes, that is hypocrisy. Sheer, utter, 100% hypocrisy. That is why we, again, need to unravel toxic masculinity, because these people are going to shame women for doing what the men want to do themselves. They're going to applaud men who are like, oh, yeah, you scored with 150 women, yay. And then, oh, but you're a terrible harlot for doing that. But again, with the whole drug analogy that they were using, he basically said, and then they're still doing it secretly, which is ultimately gets down to his problem and why these men are so toxic, because it's not, they don't believe that they would stop having their fun or whatever. They would continue to want to do that and would then cheat on you. But that's a whole different other aspect. So the problem is not the body count. It's that he thinks that they're going to continue to do it because they're going to continue to cheat on you. Because for some reason he doesn't trust it. But using his own logic that he agreed to with her, if somebody was doing drugs, and they stopped doing drugs, and they're no longer doing the drugs, then you would trust them and you would be fine with it. Same thing should be with the body count. Of course, again, the only reason that these men don't want women with high body counts, it's not because of purity or they want someone who's chaste or whatever, because if it was about purity, they would remain pure themselves as well. The only reason that these guys want women who are sexually inexperienced is so they don't know how much better it can be with the 2-second, pump and dump that they're going to offer in the bedroom. They don't want their women, and I don't want to call them partners because these people don't view women as partners at all, but they don't want to have a person with whom they're in a relationship with to understand that, oh, it's so much better with these other people, because then they might have to up their game. But again, if they know that it's better with other people, they have such low opinions of women that they're going to think that, oh, they're obviously going to cheat on me because of, the horrible stuff that they bring in the bedroom. And that's what they're paranoid about, because they're either unable or unwilling to do better in the sack.